Welcome, everybody, to the SEO Mad Scientist Podcast, where we bring you live SEO test updates, review new test releases, and discuss SEO theory. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe for new episodes every Wednesday. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and all your favorite podcasting platforms, as well as web20ranker.com to catch up on all the previous podcasts. So with that, let's jump right into it and talk some SEO tests. Today we are joined by a very special guest, Danielle.
That me?
That means you haven't you've been on some vaults, though. You're not. This is not your first time. It's not your first rodeo. Definitely not. And of course, Alex. Alex, thanks for jumping on again with us. Always a pleasure. We are going. I think we're going to jump right into it with this custom signals test that we actually published, I think, a while back. That started last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Technically last, like November or something like that. Let me go. I'm going to see if I can find the link so I can even pull up that on the website. And essentially for this test, for anyone who didn't follow or hasn't been aware of the updates, we ran our custom signals on this listing, our custom signal service, where we go out, find competitor links, listings, things where their business is referenced, obtain those listings, those links, optimize them for keywords, if there's descriptions, things like that, fill out those properties, those profiles, and it's really that simple, just being competitor parity with off page, and that can include guest posts. I know there's a lot of citations. There's even some just basic brand profiles. We really don't discriminate too much when the number one ranking site has it, right? It's obviously not hurting too much in the current algorithm. So, anyways, this I was actually really surprised at. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I know what we do works. We generally test these things. But this actually did really great up until I think about, not, it's still doing great, but up until the 27, 26 between these geo grids right here is where we started doing some additional work. I think data aggregators, if I remember correctly, and I'm thinking that was exactly what Bowden said. We submitted data aggregators on like the 26th, so everything up since like the 27th is essentially just all from our custom signals. And I think we might have started doing some other general citations and socials from what Danielle said.
Yeah, I think there's like some GBP listing optimization, but really nothing. And it looks like we started month 1 of custom signals was completed on October 25th, just so you know.
And I think we did like a month or two and saw very like incremental movements, and then we did like 3 months like all at once. Yeah. Which is definitely says a lot too about like when you're looking at the different custom signals packages,
the different levels that we offer.
Yeah, and really when you think about it, really what we're saying is you're getting in competitor parity much quicker.
Right.
That's really all it is, right? And we definitely wanted to see, that was the thing we wanted to test, and it definitely had some impact. This is only from January 12th zoomed in. And I know before this we had a lot that wasn't even ranking at all.
So the takeaway there, Mike, right, is that you're not being penalized for increased velocity, catching up to the pack, right? Being parity.
Yes. Which, honestly, I've always felt that way about SEO. Google can't legitimately penalize someone for being too popular and gaining traction too quick. They can try to see through if someone's trying to manipulate that by making it look like they're doing that versus actually happening. But when you start to look at local and a lot of the things Google's looking at, like prominence and relevance and all these things, like building this document archive about a location, it's not a simple thing to just say like, oh, they're building backlinks too fast, which I also don't subscribe to. I don't think there's any backlink velocity penalty either. But anyways, yeah, that is definitely is a huge takeaway. You can't go too fast, I guess you could say, with local at this moment. I don't feel that way personally, at least.
Here's where it's close.
In about a month and a half, 2 months, you're gonna start hearing a lot of SEO gurus talking about the non-local penalty for citation building and brand building. Yeah. And I ain't gonna lie, the brand building is getting to be huge. Like, you need to build a brand, and that's custom signals is a huge part of that, because a lot of those properties and references, yeah, it's branding. You know, it's like a Yelp page, which it's not necessarily seems like the biggest thing in the world in every single instance, but there's definitely an cumulative effect of doing all these things. And I have plans to go back and actually break down, specifically even to Danielle, I'm gonna take your report and break down that list into, I guess, pretty, you know, I'm gonna try and take certain variables like a heading, a description, ability to put a link to the website, or maybe ability to put links to other properties, and see if there's very specific amount of or type of properties in those lists that are moving the needle. But then at that point, like some of them do just have like name, address, phone number, link to the website. And when it takes 20 seconds and costs a few pennies to put a link up, how granular do you want to be? So
Right.
I don't want to necessarily test it to just, save a couple of cents on link building. I more so want to be able to identify the opportunities better, which I think will be valuable too.
Yeah. So do we want to touch on the fact that we're actually running this on my personal business? I don't think we've told anybody. So Windsor Insulation is my business that I own with my husband, and I'm just thankful that I've had the opportunity to partner with Web20 on trying to get this thing ranking and help my family in what we're doing.
And so, if you're also in the area and need some insulation services, Windsor Installation LLC. Quick plug right there.
Central Pennsylvania and the DMV area.
We'll definitely snip at that, so Dan can get run some. I ain't gonna lie, we're gonna be one of the things that we're looking to test is Facebook ad, BPC ads. Were you on that call, Alex, where we were discussing that?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, a little snippet from an SEO podcast talking about getting insulation. Like, might just people be like, what? I mean, it's kind of a pattern interrupt, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, hey, it's gonna be fun stuff. Here's the update. Again, if you do need insulation services, Danielle's got the hookup.
With their insulation.
We're gonna plug it plenty of times as we test. We're gonna. I mean, we are, as I just discovered, running a full SEO campaign on Danielle's listing. One that I actually put an accelerated campaign I put together where I kind of try to strip away, I would say some of the smaller things like brand links, which is kind of a part of custom signals. So I just really went super hard on custom signals, like we're doing kind of like with this, but not, what's the word I'm looking for? It's an accelerated campaign, right? So I mean, technically, Danielle, well, this is what I wanted to see too. If we can complete all that work in the next 30 to 45 days,
right?
Because it is a lot, and we're already seeing some insane rankings already.
I mean, I know what you
Obviously.
guys are seeing, but my phone is also ringing. So like that can't speak any higher than what it does, is because like I was on 2 jobs yesterday, and so our business is increasing because of what's being done, and so I'm just excited to see where it keeps going.
It is,
It would be
I
interesting,
mean,
like with Windsor Installation specifically, to put the GBP insights alongside the grids.
And this is the only thing that I'm doing with my SEO is what Web20 is doing. Like, I'm not doing anything outside of, I've passed the baton to you guys so that we can really see where we can take it from a brand new business with nothing.
yeah, no, exactly. And that's definitely, we try to do our test with as little like input as possible
Right.
from external sources, but the ability to do it with like a real company
Yeah.
where like now, like, so here's something I want to ask too. Where are you getting calls from? They got to be like all over the place, right?
So I actually just recently started asking people. Before, we were getting a lot of referrals. My mother-in-law lives in a 55 plus community in their new houses. So like word was getting around about how they weren't insulating garages. So we got initially a lot of work from there, but now I'm like, hey, where'd you hear about us? And people are like, I just searched you guys on Google, insulators near me. And you guys were one of the first ones to come up. And I'm like, yeah.
Are they, I mean, where are they in Gettysburg? Are they, how far
Um,
away from your location are they generally?
I would say that people are calling me probably within an hour and a half from the Gettysburg area.
Hour and a half. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, for anyone who knows, though, Gettysburg is not like a major town, so an hour and a half is like
It's
going to your neighbor's house.
yeah, like it's no problem for us to travel that far.
Yeah, that can be, especially at some of those back roads, that could be like a
Yeah.
20-minute drive if you're going quick enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
20-minute drive and 40 or 45-minute drive in 20 minutes.
It's like 35 minutes to get to the nearest Walmart, so it's fine.
And so that's kind of the thing, though, is because if you're in a major city and you can rank a few miles out, you could have a massive audience in that area that's searching you. So when we look at this test, you could say, yeah, it's definitely lower competition, but we're
Right.
also dominating in the lower competition. It's very different for something like installation services to dominate without like a city word or something like that. Even I mean, insulation is in the name. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I
I think
think
another thing to note is that the companies that we're up against have been established or been around for probably 10 plus years. Like, I don't really know of any newer insulation companies. Like, the guys that were around have been in the industry for a long, long time.
yeah, they definitely are. Yeah, I mean, I got what spray foam. Oh, I thought that said McAfee or McAfee insulation. McVe MCVEA insulation. Okay, so I know spray foam, Omaha spray foam, and just looking at the top of these, I'm pretty sure when I've looked at insulation terms, we're not just doing this, but in general, a lot of them say insulation in the name.
Yeah.
Especially when you start looking at some of the top ranking sites. iPhone, I know them too. So that's something I try to consider when I'm testing is like something could be impacted because you're branding it, something could be impacted because of like increased authority, or something could be impacted because it's more like relevant, right? Like it's more topically relevant. So when we see increases in terms that have the word insulation in them, you can all like kind of assume that there's a brand element that ties into that. But when you see that almost every other business has that brand element, then you can kind of take that out of the equation because that kind of leveled the playing field because you're not really fighting the algorithm, you're fighting the competition within the algorithm. So like when we do something and it works, it doesn't necessarily mean like that beats all things. It means that it's beating those things on those listings in that algorithm, right?
Yeah.
So initially, I know I made some comments about the fact that like installation's in the name, so it makes sense that we would see such good results. But again, when we just look at some of these insulation, that one actually doesn't have it. Spray foam. Spray foam's a very popular one that I see ranking. Insulation. So like if insulation was the key mover, needle mover in this scenario, then why aren't all these other ones that say insulation in the name doing well from just
Right.
sitting there, right? And I've had that problem before because sometimes you just let things sit and they rank better.
Yeah.
But what we're seeing here is clearly much, much more than just, oh, you got your brand name in there
Right.
and it's just sitting. What is there any calls that you're getting that are for anything interesting? Are they all just general spray foam insulation?
So I don't do spray foam insulation, but no, I wouldn't say anything out of the norm.
Do you get calls for spray foam insulation?
I've gotten a few, but not very many.
Have you gotten calls for anything else that you don't provide?
No.
Okay, it'll be interesting to know that, especially.
Yeah.
And if you do, let me know. We'll pull some keywords and see if we can track it and figure out maybe where that call came
I
from.
definitely need to get better at like asking, hey, where'd you find us? And then like taking notes on exactly what they're calling for.
And even if you just remember off the top of your head, oh yeah, someone called for this. Maybe it's even not from organic search, but we could at least put some keywords in there and maybe see how those related things could be. Like, are we tracking spray foam terms?
I don't know.
Well, she had mentioned earlier that one of the people that called in searched insulator near me, and that's not something we're currently tracking as well. So having insight into what terms are being searched.
Yeah.
So spray foam is definitely showing some rankings for the base terms, and then spray foam Gettysburg is like if you're searching for spray foam in Gettysburg, you're up there. But like I said, that's what I said. I didn't even search spray foam. There's definitely a very heavy correlation between insulation and spray foam in the algorithm from the things I've seen when looking at this test. Like when you search insulation services near me, you see spray foam pop up. And even I think when I was looking at the ones that I just clicked here, like spray foam was, I don't know if it was this exact one, but Walmart. Look at that.
Michaels. Wow.
Advanced spray foam and coatings. So yeah, there's definitely coatings. That's interesting. It's interesting to see some of these things correlate that aren't really optimized. Like what's the other one? I know on another test we were looking at that had oh no, I think it was this test. I believe it was this test. Let me go take a look.
What are we looking for?
There was keywords ranking for this that I found that were only mentioned like on some inner pages of your website.
Are you talking about the can foam insulation or something like that?
Yeah, maybe. That could be it. Be efficient. Energy efficiency, home services. There's one that was popping and showing. Yeah, there was some terms that were kind of like within your content, like just within the inner pages, and maybe I don't even think somewhere on the homepage. One of them was not even on the homepage.
Okay.
And it was on some of the custom signals where like it had a description about your business, and it said, you know what? I could probably go. I'll have to put it in the update. What's the website?
WindsorInsulation.co.
For all your installation services. WindsorInsulation.co. Call today. That's right. Okay.
Call today.
We're jingle now, Danielle.
We're getting a little far ahead of ourselves.
We got the infomercial built. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, right here, we've done it.
We definitely got enough sound bites. I think we can make a full commercial. So here it is, and
oh gosh.
So can foam insulation. I don't think that was it. Let's go to let's go back over here. There we go.
Boy, that's nice. You can just click to it.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, you can head on over to web20ranker.com/SEO test. You'll see all the tests. We're SEO Mad Scientist. You see all the recent test updates. You just have to be signed in to view them. Installation contractors, installation services.
How long have we had this updated now?
This specific one or the library?
Yeah. Well, the library. How long has that been live?
About a week or two.
Yeah.
Week and a half, yeah. Yeah, we do have the library fully live with everything now. We're just trying to get some of the most recent tests published.
It is nice.
It's very nice.
Which brings up the thing, if you watched any of the other episodes that had questions or wanted to dive into more details, head on over to web20ranker.com/SEO-tests. I believe is what it is, right, Mike?
Yes.
You'll be able to look at the entire library.
Yep, and then you just click on it, and you could see the top part of the test with the updates, but then you just have to log in. It'll take you right back after you log in. But you were right, Danielle. It is the can foam that I was thinking of.
I thought I heard that in the last update.
Can we make this bigger? Whoa, that was... There we go. Can foam service Littlestown.
Which is so weird.
Yeah, can foam insulation in Littlestown.
Yeah.
There was this inner page, and that would pull the listing, and oh, there it is too. The soundproofing Littlestown. So soundproofing is not mentioned anywhere on the site. I thought there was an image for that, except for. Was it mentioned on the listing? It was in the citation descriptions. There it is. 3 service pages that mention soundproofing. So there's 3 inner pages on this website. And it's not this one. Soundproofing. 7. Oh, I think they added more. It was only mentioned like 3 times, I think. 2 to 3 times on each page. They added more soundproofing curves. But yes, and it's probably not the homepage.
It's also under the mineral wool installation page. There's soundproofing now.
Oh, you got it? Okay. Yeah, I know, so the point is, though, is it's not on the homepage, which we've definitely seen and tested as the most influential page that's connected to the GBP. I don't believe it was listed on the GBP. It might have been now. I don't believe it was when I was observing my observations.
Observing observation.
Observing my observations, yes.
It's all proper English over here. I love it.
I'm an SEO, Alex, okay? I optimize for the algorithm, not for the grammar.
Not for the
Right.
grammar.
Yes, yeah, grammar means nothing to the algorithm. I mean, it could, and it can, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's up to the algorithm to tell me. We don't tell the algorithm, Alex. Which actually is something that came up on the last call. We could segue to, so we just a lot of great stuff about this custom signals. But we've been doing a ton of PBN map tests too, and those have seen some really interesting stuff. A lot of good movement. Let me try and find those, which I'm sure I lost at this point. Okay, let me just go find it. So we had 2 tests. One that is published now as you're watching this video, and that was our first PBN test that we started mid-February. And the test, we built 50 PBN links, and then we built 50 map embeds that had a backlink to the GBP with the anchor text and embed of the map, and then a keyword in the map embed title, and also in the title of the page was like a guest post. And then we built PBN links, tier 2 links to those map embeds. So that was the first one. The second test we did the same exact thing, but instead of building 50, we built 200. We did 4 times the amount. That was the big change. Here it is.
How much time was there between the 2 tests?
So, oh, you mean like when we started one and then the other? Honestly, I think it was 30 days. Yeah.
Okay.
March 13th, March 15th, 28 days, somewhere in there, is when we started the other one, which that's why now we're waiting probably another 2-3 weeks before we have a full report on that other one.
Yeah.
But I will give some hints about it here, what we're seeing once I get these geo grids up. Alright, so these started February 15th. Now, we actually don't have some immediate data after we placed the PBN links. I ordered them February 15th. I got the report, I think like a week and a half after that, or something like that. It was like the 20-something, 26th, 27th. And that's when I went and started running these. Well, actually, I checked ones that I already had running and found out that it had placed the map in the completely wrong area. So, good thing I went and checked, and then I restarted it up in the right area. So, we can see some of these here, like, for the residential solar company, it was actually showing really good. Kind of down this way. And then it kind of got rocky and started moving and stuff as time went on. But prior to this date, we didn't see any it was a brand new listing, right? So what we kind of had going was solar energy in the name, obviously, like I said, big possible influencer depending on the competition. But I'm thinking that if this is all just based on brand, right? And this is also why we ran another test. And we're starting seeing this movement here at the end of March. The one thing that really kind of lined up was around the same exact time these terms that never showed any movement started showing. Or this one even here, it looks like March 3rd, March 5th. And this is only with 50. So it's really hard, especially with like tier 2 links, to know what's getting crawled when it's being considered. But if we built 50 map embeds and say 100 tier 2 links, because I think we built like 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 to each one. Like we don't, or I can't remember if we used the tool or not for that. I think we just did the PBN links. We'll double check and put it in the final report. Sign up or miss it. Okay. This is why we ran it though, with 200 PBN links. 200 map embeds. I keep mixing it up. To be clear, I'm mixing it up because the map embeds that we did were not super high quality map embeds. They were just blogs. You know what I mean? Like essentially a PBN, but these weren't like just PBN links. You know what I mean? And everything was built directly to the website. But like I used to sell embeds on PBNs, and those used to cost $50 per embed. That's what I used to charge. But my links also would cost $200 a link. That is not the type of embeds and links we're testing here, but we are going to be testing those. I have that on my list to test after we get this final test back. So this is 50, and it took, about a month and a half to really see some kind of real movement, I would say. Even on the terms that were already ranking, they did kind of drop, but who knows?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're updating these tests, are you keeping a timeline of like updates that are happening on Google, things that you're seeing as far as like what could be going on in the background of why
That's
you're
an
seeing
excellent question because we're just coming out of the core and spam update. Right?
So I am doing that as best I can from my knowledge of when things are happening and trying to consider that. In the dashboard, we literally, well, Nate, I say we, the whole team, well, Nate and the engineering team has built an entire area that other people are going to eventually get access to as well, where it can line up our campaigns and what we're doing along with Google updates and like a timeline in there. But right now I don't have anything. I don't have all the tests getting mapped out on a timeline with those things.
Right.
It's something we're going to try and automate with the new well, we are going to automate, I should say. We're not going to try to with the new dashboard. But I do try to consider that because, like you said, there's also a lot that happened right here.
Right, that's what made me think of it.
So the question also becomes, because I've also seen some campaigns that were ranking very well and then dropped off here.
Yeah.
And I've seen some that have gone up. And so I would definitely say it's clear that there's an algorithm shift. We always know if you ever say there's not a Google update, there's like a 99% chance that you're wrong within the past 12 hours. Okay. So yeah, I mean, they're going through like 2-3 plus updates a day, probably more now between local and organic and everything else. So the point is yeah, it would be good to know that exactly, but what we do know is what was done to this.
Right.
So
that
whatever
first time you showed where it was mainly green and then went to red. That's I forget which one it was.
Probably this one. Oh no, the contractors one actually all went up. I noticed that specifically for contractor terms. This one was doing this one actually still doing fairly good or better. Solar company. No, that even wasn't it either. There it is. Residential solar panel company. Probably the least worried about term out of all of them.
Right. But right around that time where that update was happening, it looks like, yeah,
like it cut off right here.
Right.
So it looks like a proximity situation, if you were going to ask me with the update. For it to kind of just draw a line in your rankings like that screams proximity to me. It is weird that we see these spotty nodes. So I've noticed that on the newest test too, the PBN map embed test. And like this is what we saw if we go. Oh, no, that was another. I think it's the residential terms that specifically. So yeah, this is what we saw with the PBN map embed test, where it would kind of start popping weird nodes, and then we would see this. And we're also seeing that now with the test that started, the second PBN test with the 200 links that started around March 15th. But there is ones that just...
What would be interesting, Mike, is to run CTR on that.
Or the embeds, you mean?
Yeah.
So like they go to the page with the embed and click through to the map, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually have that. So oh wow, we're about 35 minutes in. So we're gonna get this update's live, by the way. I'm gonna get the watch for the second PBN tiered link map embed test. I'm not good with titles, to be honest. That's just really not my thing. But we built PBN links to pages with map embeds and relevant content to our map. Okay, there you go. That's it in a nutshell. Watch out for more updates. And then I have, again, another thing I lost. Everyone watched me get everything together before I click go to start doing this. I'm like, I'm gonna work this, and yeah, now it's all just gone on me. So, tiered links to citations. That's a huge one that we are going to be testing in general. I know me and Alex had a discussion about it yesterday. That's a strategy I've used for a long time, but it's something that
I feel like that's so simple.
It is. It is so simple. But I'm not gonna lie, local SEO is more simple than complicated.
Right.
And I subscribe to that more even now after watching Mark's YouTube test, where he built all those Google Earth profiles and backlinks and intricate cross links and playlists and we saw just like a little tiny, I don't even know. It looked like something happened, but who knows? So yeah, building links to citations. It was something back when I was ranking for Chicago SEO. It was one of the things that I noticed actually. I noticed that, well, at least I correlated to my local rankings, like way back in when we had an 8-pack, and I was like number 6. I was really focused on building those citations and putting content on them and building links to them. And I think the links that I built were either brand keyword or keyword. It was not complicated. Right. And I believe that's kind of the process we were talking about the other day, or at least the one we were looking at, Alex, was kind of the same. But yeah, we're gonna test that. We've heard some other chatter about that still being effective, very effective. And we do that. We do that already, right? Why we want to test it? Do we want to go harder with the anchor text? Do we want to brand?
Just want to make boundaries behind it, right?
And then and then
be able to lean into it.
Well, what did you just say about the other test, Alex? You said we should do what? CTR. Like
Yeah.
then we could send CTR through it. Now we have a whole nother kind of situation to test all those different things. So, I mean, think about it. If someone went to a property, read a blog post about a service or something, and then clicked through to a citation, and then landed on your map, and then got driving directions. I don't know in what world or how that would be figured out and used by Google. But what I do know is in the real world, that would be a quality signal if it actually happened and Google could be aware of it.
Yeah.
So we want to test it. That's it.
We want to test all the things.
We do.
All the things.
Backlinks to the website, influence on local. That's what I know Losh has been pushing for me to test extremely heavily.
I'm in that camp too.
Yes, so that one's still gotta get going. I still gotta put that through to the link team. But we have the property, I have the acre text, I just literally gotta go put it through. Yesterday I got our on-site I don't really know what to call it. I'm calling it our on-site heading spam test for local. Essentially, I've extremely over-optimized the homepage. I took a listing that has no optimization. I've been tracking the keywords forever. They're not ranking. There's a website hooked up to it that literally has no optimization besides enterprise digital marketing. That's probably, I think, the main term in the heading. And then it had call now with a blank form and then a footer that's we're enterprise digital marketing. So I went and I just slammed the homepage with a heading for SEO services near me with 200-300 words of content, completely keyword stuffed with all my different terms, and updated the page. And mostly the reason why I'm doing this is because we have seen such a heavy impact on the links page to the GDP that, again, it's going to be really interesting, kind of with the competitor parity stuff. Is there really a threshold here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you had to choose between being number one in maps or number one or number three in organic and number 5 to number 3 in maps, which one would you choose? I'm just saying. Not saying you want to do that to your client, but there might be a world where you can optimize better for maps on your website than for organic. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, definitely nowadays more than previously.
So yeah, it's interesting when we bring Wash on though, because he definitely is not subscribed to that train of thought. He takes organic is very much more tied to local, the correlative side, which I'm also on too. I'm starting to see some evidence of that.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's not an indication that it's easier to rank local through organic than it is organic by itself for local firms.
Yeah, there is why we are testing instead of just analyzing the available data and drawing conclusions. Awesome. All right. Well, I think that's been a good little session here. Thank you so much for joining us, Danielle. Remember everyone, windsorinsulation.co for all your insulation services. Marketing brought to you by 120 Raker.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to come back and just keep going over this and see what we're doing.
Awesome. And as always, thank you to Alex for joining us. We will...
Thanks for out.
Yes, thank you. We'll see everyone next Wednesday. That is the SEO Mad Scientist. Remember, subscribe, find us on all your favorite podcasting platforms. And until next time, happy testing. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.